Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm going to do a real quick little substrate video because I noticed a handful of people have talked about their substrates for reptiles and they don't know what they're really looking at. So I'm going to show you all the things that you can get, and I'm over here at PetSmart, as you can kind of see. Not really, you can't really tell it's PetSmart, but it is. And nonetheless, the most common bedding you'll see people get for snakes is going to be your Aspen bedding. There's different brands, obviously, because you have the Aspen snake bedding, and then you have another brand just called Aspen bedding. It's pretty much the same. It's the same thing. Aspen is a good, cheaper bedding, but from what I've seen in my own experience, it's not what retains moisture very well. I mean, it holds it, but it doesn't hold it as well as you would think. Me personally, I've always had a favoritism for the forest floor. It's a cypress mulch. This stuff retains moisture really well, and it's actually even though it doesn't have really much of doesn't have much of an odor to it to cover up anything, which is one of my issues with Aspen. There's like no smell to it really at all. It retains moisture a lot better. I think it looks more natural, and it's a little bit nicer and easier on the eyes, so it's more aesthetically pleasing. Another one some people will use, they'll use coconut and everything. I'm not personally a fan of using coconut fiber and stuff like that for corn snakes and snakes in general. I mean, it kind of depends on your snake. If you have like a sand boa, you could probably get away with, you could probably do it just fine. But I don't like it because it's a really fine fiber, and it's kind of like the same issue with sand that I'll explain to you in a little bit too. You don't want to use hydro balls because corn snakes don't need humidity to be that high. That's usually for your amphibians and tropical lizards and everything. But my favorite bedding is this bedding right here. It's called Reptibark, and it's pure fir bark, which is not toxic. So anyone who tells you that there's only a couple, you can only use aspen and mulch, cypress, they don't know what they're talking about. The thing I like about this bedding is one of the more expensive beddings. I think it's the most expensive bedding, but it has a really nice smell. So it gives a really natural odor to your bedroom. Like, it smells like bark. It retains moisture really well. It looks really nice in a tank, and it's one of the higher rated beddings for snakes and lizards and stuff like that. So with that said, those are the ones you can use. Now, for snakes, I don't recommend using... I'm not overly fond of lizard litter because it's really fine bedding. You could probably use it with maybe a baby corn snake, but I don't recommend it for the bigger snakes because these really fine pieces can probably get wedged in the scales a little bit, because once the snakes get bigger, you can obviously feel their scales out a lot more. Don't do sand. I don't care what sand it is. I don't care if it's calcium sand. I don't care what it is. Don't use sand because sand can get wedged into the scales, and snakes, like corn snakes and everything, aren't supposed to be living on sand. And it doesn't hold moisture for crap. So with that said, don't put your snakes on sand unless you have, for example, a sand boa and stuff like that. Don't do it for corn snakes. They need to have a little bit of humidity, even if it's just you spraying down their tank and them having a big water dish in there. Just don't use any of these sands. You shouldn't be using sand for corn snakes. End of story. Get used to it and get over it. So last time I'm going to go over it, you can use aspen bedding. You can use lizard litter for smaller corn snakes. You can use cypress mulch. You can also use coconut fiber, or you'll see coconut like stranded substrates at some reptile shops, and you can also use Reptibark. All right, anything that has pine or cedar in it, don't use. End of story. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. Pine and cedar are toxic. They put off a airborne toxin that's actually, like I said, toxic to a lot of snakes and a lot of lizards and stuff. So don't use it. Don't touch it. I mean, if you really want, you could also go as far as using some of these. For those of you who want your snakes to be kind of out and about more, rather than being burrowed so much. These are in the long run, they're cheaper, but if you don't clean them correctly, they can retain bacteria and stuff rather well. So that's kind of why I haven't done it yet. I just have it up in the background. But with that said, those are your bedding options for corn snakes and a lot of other snakes. And that's it, you guys. Take it easy. Hopefully this video helps shed some light on some stuff for you guys. Peace.